Half hour brought to you by our good friends at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Auto, home, light, business, boat, motorcycle, RV. Yes, they have the best, no doubt about that. They take good care of you because customer service means everything to them. They want to make sure you're fully insured. They also want to make sure they save you money wherever you need it. Medicare products, same thing. All right? So they can help you with a wide variety of insurance needs. It's all at Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury. Go to purdyinsurance.com. Now, he's married and has a couple of kids. He has a lot of insurance needs. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the great Nate Bauer. So welcome.
Wow. What an introduction.
Wow. I mean, let's face it. Are you going to Las Vegas?
I'm not. That's a younger man's game, Steve.
Too hot.
Too hot. You know, I'll be a little behind the scenes here for all the listeners out there. You got to create a lot of content.
Yes, you do.
And that is not what I do. I am not a 40 stories in 3 days kind of guy.
Yeah, I'm hanging on, just doing what I'm doing right now.
Yeah. That's it. We'll do the big picture stuff. That's good, but you know how 30 stories legitimately on NIL, which is what I very much anticipate this Big Ten Media Days to be about. That is not for me. No thanks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You did go to basketball last week. You were around it. They officially signed one other player with one still pending out there. What was just the general takeaway from the limited stuff you saw, but also the general takeaway from the people you talked to?
Yeah, I think that a couple of things. One, they're young, and it's obvious that they're young. A big piece of that is the guys that we saw don't include two of the older international players that they're adding to the team. So help is coming, right? This isn't, they're not going to be this young forever. It's just that, you know, the guys that, Mila Tucha and Tibor Murtic are both coming later next month, I believe, is the timeline, is August arrivals for those guys. Yep. So that'll help. You know, look, I do think that, you know, they've needed to and have had success at kind of bulking guys up a little bit quickly. Mm-hmm. The new strength coach, you know, that they just brought into the program, I think has done a good job. Yep. At kind of, because, you know, that's the deal. It's because they have so many guys who are younger. You know, they got to get them kind of up to speed and Big Ten play as quickly as you can. And the speed isn't so much the issue as much as durability, I think. And so it's just going to be interesting to see how these guys kind of hold up once they get into, you know, that portion of the schedule.
Right, and it'll take time. I think if there's any area I'm going to pick with this team where it's just like it's going to be the work in progress, and the preseason will be critical, at least get some foundation of it's going to be on the defensive end because they haven't had to play defense like this ever.
Yeah, it's look, people don't like hearing that they're young because there are some older players, right? Josh Reed they brought in from Cincinnati. Sasa is coming in from a couple of stops. He's an older kid, and he's going to play this year. You know, but there's just a lot of youth. Caden Mingo, I think, you know, and this isn't really something that we were able to see up close, but I was able to spend some time with some of the TBT guys who had an opportunity to play against them on Wednesday, I want to say, last week. Yep. And they loved Caden. They thought he was a really, really skilled player. So that's a good thing for Penn State. Eli Rice, they came away impressed by him, and he's a guy that Penn State fans just aren't familiar with. Neither are we as media. We haven't been able to see him. He was hurt all last year.
Yep.
So those are important. Freddie Billion is going to be important, obviously, and Dom Stewart is going to be kind of important that his progression continues and that he gets on a trajectory where he can help. I just think you can be young in a couple of ways, right? Yes, young in age for sure, but also young in terms of there is legitimately it is impossible to put a team together on the floor, 5 guys who have all played together at all. Yeah. You can't, right? Due to the amount of turnover that this program has had, you do not have a 5-man lineup that has ever played together, and so that's going to take it's just going to take some time. So I think that you're right about that.
Well, I'll say this about Mingo. There's a lot of things about Mingo I like. I feel like he has a pretty good grasp of where the other 9 chess pieces on the floor have to be. And I think that's one of the reasons why I think people would be surprised. Now, we'll see how it plays out in games. But this is not a turnover machine. I mean, he takes care, for the most part, takes care of the basketball, which is pretty impressive for somebody who's 18 years old.
I think the comparison that I've made, and this may be wrong. You're better at describing, basketball comps than I, but I think it's a little bit like some of, excuse the crossover to football, but the way that an offensive line is evaluated. And, you might have an offensive line that makes, 5 mistakes over the course of a game. Right. And every player on the offensive line makes 1. And so individually, it seems, factually, each of those players had a good game, right? But as an offensive line, there were enough miscommunications and enough problems that it became a talking point. Right. I think that their ability as a 5, right, whoever Mike Rose puts on the floor as a 5, I just think, and again, this is just based off feedback, I just think it's going to be very difficult for them to run concepts with one of the 5 having an issue.
Right, exactly. That's exactly right.
There's going to be little bits and pieces, these little hiccups that kind of throw the whole thing off, and that's going to be it's going to be tough for them to accelerate the learning process so quickly to get everybody on board where it becomes second nature. I just think that's a tall ask on this short of a time.
Well, and this is why I say all the time. For example, let's keep it with football. And I try to tell everybody, if you have one guy on offense that can't run a play, right, like can't do it, you can't run the play. You can't put it in. Same thing in basketball. If you have somebody out there, there's only 5 guys now, and you have somebody that can't run the play or doesn't know the concept, you can't run it. You can't do it. I mean, people, I don't understand why they don't do this, this, and this. Well, understand, everybody has to know it. It's actually kind of a simple concept, but you're like trying to explain it to certain people who think they know the game, and it gets frustrating for me because they don't know the game. You deal with them all the time.
I do think that there is a big element here of Mike and his staff are going to have to come at this differently than they did last year. Certainly last year, and even before that, right? Even before in the first season at Penn State, yes, there were so many new pieces, but they had all played college basketball, or enough of them had played college basketball. That's right. Where you were started, like the foundation was starting at a different point than you are with these guys. These guys, you are explaining the very fundamental concepts. And again, we're watching 15 minutes of open practice. Mike is physically demonstrating how to step through a screen.
Yeah, that's right. Right.
Like legitimately where your feet go. This is and so that getting again getting everyone to do that where it's not going to throw things off and it becomes second nature, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a big uphill challenge for those guys.
No, there's no question. I mean, because some of this stuff, I'll never forget. Penn State would have a bad football game, and Joe Paterno would get into what was then the Tuesday press conference, and he'd say, what's important this week? He said, well, we got to go back to certain things. He said, we have to learn how to get in a stance. Okay, okay, that's kind of simple. All right, Big Ten Media Days this week. A lot of talk. There'll be a lot of NIL. When you've had a chance to deal with players, even with James, what has been the general takeaway because of what expectations happen to be?
What are the expectations for this season for those guys, or NIL?
No, expectations for the season. I actually like talking football, but that's okay. That's only
no, I know. Believe it or not, right?
Crazy me.
So I think that they're not getting ahead of themselves, I think is an important piece of this. But there's there is a balance to be had of, hey, all of us, right? And when I say us, I mean Drew, Nick, Katron, Denai, all the Zane, right? All the seniors that could have gone to the NFL and did not, they all came back to win a national championship. Well, that's fine. They all came back also to get better individually. There were developmental pieces to every one of those decisions that they could be better prospects on the back side of this season than they were on the front side, right? And coming off of last year. So that's an important piece, I think, for people to keep in mind. But I do think, they are having had the experience. There is an intentionality throughout the program about what has to be done, right? And what has to be done, number one, is getting back to the playoffs. Okay?
No doubt.
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills a little bit here, Steve, and I'm not typically the bad guy. I am not typically within the Penn State ecosystem a hand wringer by any means. I do not get Penn State at number one in the Big Ten, which was released today by the poll, the Cleveland.com poll. I do not get Penn State number one preseason overall. I don't get it. There is a lot to like about this team. There is a lot about this team that has not been proven, and I think that they understand that more intimately than anybody. And so there is still ground to be gained by these guys and this team and this program this season.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm obviously been asked to do a lot of shows here in the last few weeks. Okay. And I get asked about the possibility where they're going to be ranked. And you know me well enough all these years to know how I feel. I'm like, okay. That's fine. And when you're a fan, you have the luxury of jumping to Oregon on September 27th or jumping to Ohio State on November 1st. When you're actually in it, and I'm in it because I have to announce the game in front of me, I only think about the game in front of me. I don't think about September 27th or November 1st. I'm not doing that game yet. I think a luxury that James has is that because of all the veteran players you mentioned, they have been ingrained over and over and over again from his 1-0 culture, where they can tell the younger players about it, especially going through the ultimate 1-0 of the playoff last year, because that is the ultimate 1-0. You lose today, and guess what? You're on the plane looking around asking yourself what happened. I think that part of the veteran part needs to be talked about more, because I think that's an important part where he doesn't have to be the one telling everybody. He's got players, peers that can tell him that.
Yeah, and it's not just those games. It's literally summer workouts.
Winning a practice.
Right? It's how are you approaching summer workouts? How are you approaching preseason camp? There is no time to waste, and I think just a little bit different, right? It's not saying that prior classes of seniors at Penn State were ill-equipped to convey it, but I think these guys have the resumes to say, look, they very much have been on the mountain, near the mountaintop, more closer to the mountaintop than anybody before them in this era of college football, and understand, right? Andy Kolonicki, I had a good conversation with him, for our preseason magazine, where he was like, look, there is nothing about last year's experience where he came out of it thinking they need to do something differently.
Right.
They're not. They have the formula, right? They can win these games. You've seen the evidence. The proof of concept is there. It is simply a matter of, hey, this is how close. Right? It's 3 points against Notre Dame. It's a touchdown against Ohio State. These are the margins where wins happen or don't. And everyone now in the program that's going to have an impact on this season, for the most part, has experienced that. Right. And they can say to themselves, man, this missed block, right, by a receiver. This missed whatever. Things that may seem minor that they have insights into, they can point them out and say, hey, this is the difference between winning a national championship and not. And here's what needs to get better for this season for that to happen. All right.
You mentioned the preview coming out next week, I believe.
Yeah. Well, actually, I got a stack of them on my front porch right now. I don't want to tell people where I live, but
no, I already. Before you came on, I gave the address. You're good. Yeah, you're fine. You don't have to worry about that. The pressure's all off. So, give me a couple of highlights in it that makes it an intriguing issue.
Yeah, there's quite a bit, to be honest with you. I handled, and I'm just speaking for myself here. I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I did with Drew. I had an interview with Drew and was able to get his How'd you get over the Orange Bowl? What was that process? Because they just kind of disappear, right? These guys all go away, and so there were all of the I'm going to call them quote unquote front office moves in the immediate aftermath. Right, you had a couple of transfers, right, receivers that transferred out. You had the Jim Knowles stuff after the Ohio State National Championship. All that stuff was happening in January, but you don't hear from Drew. You don't hear from a lot of these players who just went through that, and it's hard. Yeah. It is a difficult thing to go through, working so much towards something and then to come up short. So I thought he offered some kind of tremendous insight into that, as well as the areas that he felt he could improve this season to be the guy that gets where he wants to go, right? Where not just himself, but for the program, he wants that. And another interesting piece from it is his need to reconsider a little bit after the playoffs, the decision that he made before the playoffs, right? To come back, he made that a week after Andy Kolonicki announced that he was not going to be part of. Right, I'm trying to remember how Kolonicki phrased it, but he was looking forward to next season at Penn State, which was kind of a subtweet to say that he had taken himself out of the West Virginia job. And so Drew followed that in succession. But, oh, by the way, a month of really quality performances by Drew got them to the semifinal and really rocketed his NFL draft stock. Right? He was a mid first round guy by the end of the playoffs. So all of that went into that. I had a big, nice, long conversation with James Franklin, Andy Kolonicki, like I said, and kind of with Kolonicki, the angle was how to navigate a career trajectory where he is not hiding the fact, and nor should he, that he has aspirations to be a head coach.
Sure.
Right?
Who wouldn't?
Manny Diaz left for Duke, which is a job that traditionally no one has won at. Not at the levels of the highest success. If, like, for Andy Kolonicki, this is fascinating to me. How do you balance being the head coach of Penn State's offense and all that entails, and the power and the autonomy that James Franklin provides within the program for his offensive and defensive coordinators, versus running the show, right? Yeah. Being a head coach at maybe a Power 4 program, maybe not a Power 4 program, but like what is the criteria within college football where a job becomes worth making that jump from Penn State to the next step, and it's going to be he will have the same questions to answer this coming off season as he did last off season, and it's going to be interesting to see what he chooses.
Well, you are the Scotty Scheffler of the show. We appreciate you.
Oh, stop it! No majors for me here, pal. I got to work on pushing the ball right off the tee, but we'll get there.
My friend, thanks so much.
Thanks for having me. As always, I appreciate it.
Brought to you by our good friends Purdy Insurance, Market Street in Sunbury on News Radio 1070 WKOK.